Through you, Madam Chair, sana po hindi tayo nagkakaroon ng CONAP kasi dapat nauubos natin yung pondo per year. Napakadami pong nangangailangan. So I'm wondering why lagi naman pong nangihingi lahat ng mga assistance pero ng MAIP, pero bakit po nagkakaroon pa rin ng tira? So I hope this won't happen again. Marami pong katulong kayo dito para i-distribute po yung GL sa ating mamamayang Pilipino.
We will comply, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, my next question is, Mr. Secretary, problema po kasi pag weekend or may bagyo, walang pasok ang DOH, wala rin pong MAIP, wala rin pong GL, kasi wala pong makontak sa DOH. Siguro po, it's high time we address this.
Ito na naman, Congresswoman Bernadette Herrera, binalatan ng taga PhilHealth at ang taga Department of Health. Karamihan sa mga taong bayan, hirap mahagilap ang nasabing mga ahensya, mga nasabing departamento, malaki ang nakalaang pondo. Pero bago ang lahat, maaari kayong mag-subscribe para maging updated sa mga issue at bagong mga balita. Binanatan nga ng mga katanungan nitong si Congresswoman Bernadette Herrera ang PhilHealth at taga-DOH. Ito'y marahil sa mga pangangailangan umano ng iilan sa ating mga kababayan na hindi umano nila ibinibigay. Dagdag pa ni Herrera, nasasayang lamang umano ang pondo para dito dahil di lahat ng ating mga kababayan ay nasusuplayan ito. Narito ang buong detalye.
Through you, Madam Chair, yun nga po yung masakit eh. Nagbibigay tayo, pero wala tayo dun sa sinasaad na batas na allocation na pinasa po natin yung batas ng 2022. May IRR naman po ito at malinaw naman po yung nakasaad sa batas na i-cover ito. So how come we can give away money and yet yung kailangan bigyan ng contribution ay hindi natin nabibigyan? How come nakapagbigay tayo, pero yung ating requirements, sasabihin niyo sa amin walang pondo? I don't understand that.
Madam Chair, we propose it as one of our proposals na provide funds for the contribution of solo parents, but it was not included in our national expenditure program po.
So we are violating the law, Madam Chair. Kasi may pera eh. Kasi nakapagbigay kayo, so hindi ko maintindihan for the life of me, how can that happen?
Press Mandy.
Maybe the question, Madam Chair, should be properly addressed to DBM, please.
Press Mandy, kayo po ang makakasagot nito, hindi po DBM. Kasi benefits po, ang tanong po is, may pondo po kayo.
We propose po to DBM, ma'am, pero wala pong...
Hindi po, yes, may proposal kayo sa DBM, pero ang tanong po ni COMBH is, may pondo naman po kayo even if kahit ma-zero po kayo sa DBM. Tama?
Opo, kasi nakakapagbigay sila ng extra eh.
Yes po, di ba?
Makaka-avail naman po kayo ng benefits.
No, so parang kumbaga in theory, kahit ma-zero kayo sa DBM o sa Congress, may pera kayo.
Yes.
So yun po ang tanong niya.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Madam Chair, yun po, tama po kayo doon. Kung wala hong pondong binigay po doon para sa solo parents, I think PhilHealth in the implementation of NHIP and the solo parents law will assume the financial risk. This is also pursuant to the provision of the Universal Healthcare Act na on immediate eligibility. So as long as they are Filipino citizens, they are in a way automatic po sa entitlement to NHIP benefits. So yun po, ina-assume na po ng PhilHealth yung financial risk po.
Madam Chair, pwede po ayusin nyo na lang po yung guidelines kasi hindi naman kailangan ilagay nyo for solo parents. Basta importante, kasama sa funding nyo, pag may lumapit sa inyo na solo parents, they are entitled to it. Ganun lang po kasimple yung hinihingi ko po sa inyo. Do you have guidelines?
Yes po, we will comply po on the guidelines po.
I hope before the plenary, I can expect the guidelines from PhilHealth and from DOH.
Yes po, you will have it po.
Thank you very much. Madam
Thank
Chair,
you po.
my next question is regarding the Social Protection Program. In 2023, meron pong binigay na 44.44 billion, but the disbursement rate is just 41.7%. May I know for this year, ano ang status ng MAIP, ng Social Protection Program and MAIP?
Sected.
Yeah, what's our utilization for MAIP? Budget 23 and 24.
July lang to eh.
Yeah, as of July,
Yeah, as of July.
our 2023.
Sir, halos fully na yan.
So for the MAIP, our 2023 budget is almost 90%. The remaining disbursement which is the one that went into CONAP for
Okay.
2024 is at 67% as of July. So mauubos to by December. So
What about in
magiging 100%.
2024, Mr. Secretary?
For 2024, our current obligation is 39% and disbursement is 58% as of July. This is as of July 31.
Mr. Secretary, September na po ilan po as of September?
Madam Chair, tama naman yun, no? Kasi ang nangyayari, inuubos muna namin yung CONAP kasi yung CONAP yung mag-expire. So ang nangyayari, natatabi talaga yung excess, mababa yung utilization ng current, and then pumapass on to the following year.
Through you,
So,
Madam
yung-
Chair, sana po hindi tayo nagkakaroon ng CONAP kasi dapat nauubos natin yung pondo per year. Napakadami pong nangangailangan. So I'm wondering why lagi naman pong nangihingi lahat ng mga assistance pero ng MAIP, pero bakit po nagkakaroon pa rin ng tira? So I hope this won't happen again. Marami pong katulong kayo dito para i-distribute po yung GL sa ating mamamayang Pilipino.
We will comply, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, my next question is, Mr. Secretary, problema po kasi pag weekend or may bagyo, walang pasok ang DOH, wala rin pong MAIP, wala rin pong GL, kasi wala pong makontak sa DOH. Siguro po, it's high time we address this.
Madam Chair, if I may say po, yung office po talaga ng Malasakit program office is only up to Friday. But when I went around sa mga DOH hospital, lahat po ng MAIP concerns nalalodge in dun sa billing ng hospital pag weekends. So, na-address naman po. And my people...
Madam Chair.
Po. Yes, ma'am.
I beg to disagree, Madam Chair, kasi pag wala pong makausap sa DOH, wala na rin pong code.
Madam Chair, ma'am, kung meron pong ganon, let us know po. Pero kami po, kahit weekends, nagbibigay kami ng assistance.
Well, hindi ko po alam, but siguro baka sa mga pinagpala ng Diyos. Pero pag hindi ko po alam because sinasabi palagi, weekend, walang office ang DOH, walang code.
Madam
Sir,
Chair,
can you please
message me na lang,
assure
Madam Chair,
Kong
and I'll
Beach?
make sure something is done with the request.
Opo, please.
Thank you.
And then, yung request ko po before, Mr. Secretary, through you, Madam Chair, Mr. Secretary, yung guarantee letter sa mga hospital, sa mga pharmacies, usually nire-require ng ospital, dapat yung reseta ay galing dun sa doktor, dun sa ospital na yun. Sometimes there's excess GL, so minsan bibili sila ng gamot. Pero pag ang reseta ng doktor galing sa labas, hindi po tinatanggap ng pharmacy dun sa ospital na yun. Have we done something about this?
Maybe
I think that has
Yusek
something to
Molly
do
or
with the
Secretary.
COA. Kasi baka makowa kami kasi it's a prescription from an outside doctor. Ang simple solution namin doon is always
Is
get
to
a
reissue.
friendly doctor to reissue the
It can
same
be-
prescription
Pero
lang.
Madam Chair, para mag-reissue, kukuha sila ng appointment sa doctor sa ospital na yon, which will require professional fee. Hindi naman po additional gastos sa ating mga constituents.
I agree. I'll solve this because I'm a victim of this. I was assisting my driver who eventually died. Ganito rin, ayaw bigyan ng MAIP ng gamot kasi nga, reseta nung ginamit niya, PGH doctor siya, pero ang ginamit niyang prescription pad, yung private clinic niya. Sabi ko, if they use the PGH prescription, walang problema. I'll solve this problem. Thank you very much for...
Opo, Madam
Yusek Molly?
Madam Chair, sa medical assistance team po namin, meron pong doctor kami na naka-duty para po ilipat yung prescription to the nearby hospital. Baka lang po hindi na-disseminate properly yung information.
Well, pero sa akin, Madam Chair, hindi dapat kailangan pang ilipat eh. Dahil doktor, accredited ito. Nationwide, doktor yan is doktor. It has to be accepted anywhere. Para mo sabihin, pag nakapagpa-check up na ako sa doktor dito, hindi na ako makapag-avail kahit may MAIP ako, kawawa naman po yung mga tao. hindi po nila kayang i-afford magpamasahe, hahanapin pa ulit para i-transfer yung reseta nila. Alam niyo po, hindi po biro ang pamasahe para pumunta sa isang doktor. Tapos hindi pa kaya, consultation fee pag pumunta ka para ilipat ang reseta. May bayad po.
600 at least.
Yes. Hindi naman po ma-charge din sa MAIP. Kawawa naman po yung mga kababayan natin.
Yusek Molly?
Madam Chair, we will address this one po and we'll give you feedback right away. Tapos po dun sa, yung codes lang po for the GL are not available. Pero kung ano po yung ibigay niyo po na amount na ililest for that billing, nare-reflect po kaagad yan sa billing namin.
Pero hindi po tatanggapin yun ng ospital kung wala yun.
Ma'am, coordinate lang po kayo sa amin kasi sa not all po ng nag-a-ask ng MAIP has GL. Kaya po hindi siya talaga mandatory for you to get a discount. Yung iba lang po nag-GL, yung mga non-DOH. Pero yung iba po na lumalapit kay SEC, hindi na namin siya nilalagyan pa ng GL. But just the same, nabibigyan po siya ng necessary MAIP funds po.
And I'm putting it on the record na hindi po. Kasi nangyayari po sa opisina namin.
Ma'am, pag weekend po, Madam Chair, you can always contact us para po ma-assist kung yun po yung nagiging issue. Pero
Madam Chair, I think it's not necessary to call you or the secretary. I think you have to put something in place.
okay, Madam Chair, we will do that po.
Please. Kasi syempre, hindi naman namimili ang ospital, hindi naman namimili ang pasyente kung kailan sila nauospital, Madam Chair, at kung kailan sila lalabas. Minsan tuloy, mag-a-additional night pa sila. Katulad niyan, ngayon Baguio. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Walang GL po kasi walang opisina ang DOH. This happens, and I would like to put that on the record. So please, Mr. Secretary, please do something about this kasi hindi kayang afford ng pasyente na 4 na araw pa ulit siya nandun hanggang maghintay ng working day to get this. And then, the next is, what about pag yung hospital or government hospital, wala yung mga supplies, walang stent, walang bakal. How do we now help our constituents avail of MAIP through this? Kung walang stock yung hospital ng stent, walang stock yung hospital ng bakal,
Yusek Molly?
bibili nila sa labas eh. So hindi rin natin natutulungan yung mga pasyente po natin.
Madam Chair, yung mga hospitals po na merong supplies na wala doon sa hospital itself, meron po silang kamoa na supplier who will provide for them. So,
Can MAIP be used for consignment?
Opo.
Okay.
Yes, opo.
So I would like to put that on record. So pwede na gamitin ang MAIP.
Opo, yes po.
Okay. Sige. Pero dapat may MOA sa ospital. All supplies na to.
Yung supplier po, may MOA with the hospital who's implementing the MAIP
So
program.
if they don't have stocks there, pero paano yung walang kamoa?
Sila po ang magmo-MOA, Madam Chair, dun sa supplier who has the supplies po na kailangan nila.
So can we make
Madam
sure
Chair.
na lang, Mr. Secretary, na lahat ng hospitals natin hindi naubusan ng supplies at kung wala silang supply, may kamuha sila because I tell you, Mr. Secretary, day in, day out, experience po namin ito even lalo na sa provinces.
I'll speak in behalf of the hospital directors because I know their pain. What happens is we sign an MOA with for a consignee, let's say bakal or stent. Pag na-delay ang bayad niyan, hindi magdi-deliver yung company. Yet that's our problem. And this is why it's so important that PhilHealth pays immediately the government hospitals kasi delayed yung bayad sa amin ng PhilHealth. So if we have money at hand to pay the consignees after may supply kami lagi, hindi mangyayari yung situation na out of stock because ayaw mag-deliver nung consignee company kasi hindi pa bayad yung 3 months nilang mga nagamit na. So yun yung pain namin dyan. So if we had the cash, we'll pay the consignee kasi parang pinautang nila sa hospital yun for our indigent patients. And then we're waiting for our cash. Our cash never comes. So the hospital director,
Yes.
ang sasabihin ngayon ng consignee, hindi kami magdi-deliver. So ngayon, sasabihin namin sa pasyente, bumili ka dun sa
Yes.
nagsusupply ng bakal.
And that's almost
And
always the
cash ang
case.
gusto ng
Mr. Secretary, paano po namin kayo matutulungan? Andito po kami. We want to
yung
help you.
PhilHealth sana bayaran agad yung mga government hospital automatically.
Ba't
Kasi
hindi po ba nagbabayad ang PhilHealth pero namimigay ng pera?
Press Mandy, do you wish to comment on this issue?
Yes, Madam Chair. Actually, we at PhilHealth commit to pay immediately po
You always commit to pay, Madam Chair, pero hindi po kayo nagbabayad, kaya hirap din po ang DOH mag-accredit at magmuwa sa mga private hospitals dahil sa dami ng utang ng PhilHealth.
Press Mandy, what's the
Actually, ma'am,
outstanding balance?
We've paid as of June 74.9 billion po. In fact, ma'am, if I may add, actually most of the hospitals associations, the heads and the doctors are very happy with the improvements of the payments of claims of PhilHealth po.
But maybe SecTed is not one of them. May utang pa ba kay SecTed?
I'm not a member of the PHAPI, but I have 87 hospitals under my wing, and my total things that I'm billing PhilHealth for is 14,864,894,065 and 2 centavos. That's the amount that we are waiting to be paid.
Madam
And some,
Chair, yes, go
some
ahead.
are like what you call more than 3 aging. Some are aging.
How many months aging?
Years.
Madam Chair, for the record, I don't really understand bakit namimigay ng pera ang PhilHealth kung marami po siyang utang, aging years. Paki-explica po.
Madam Chair.
Hindi? Do you wish to?
I think
comment?
what you have to look closely also is into the RTH and the denied among those 15 billion, no? Marami po dong RTH tsaka denied
How many
po.
years do you need to assess the 14 billion worth of claims?
We are currently reconciling, Madam Chair, with the DOH po.
Matagal po bang mag-reconcile, Mr. Secretary, Madam Chair? It will reach years?
May we hear a commitment from
We should
Press Mandy?
get feedback maybe within 1 to 2 months po.
Pwede po ba before...
We will submit a report within 1 month.
Could you kindly submit a report before the plenary po? Kasi ako po yung sponsor ninyo.
Yes po.
Magtatanong po sa akin si COMBH. Baka wala
We'll
po tayo
submit before
masagot.
the plenary po. Promise
Sige
yan po. Promise yan po. Thank you po.
Madam Chair, Mr. Secretary, ilan po ang private hospitals na may MOA? FDA pa ako.
Madam Chair, it's 660 private hospitals. The MOA is not with is with the regional offices. So we have to add and compute. So according to the MAIP office, it's 660 private hospitals. 668 private hospitals.
And the difficulty also of in getting them is because may utang ang PhilHealth sa kanila. Tama po ba? Or yung fear na hindi
yeah.
mababayaran?
Yung MAIP naman is a separate funding source.
Okay.
In fact, they prefer MAIP kasi nga it pays earlier.
Okay. Anyway, last na lang, Madam, for FDA, may I know, ano po bang rason kung bakit napakadaming backlog sa FDA? Napakadami ko pong reklamong natatanggap.
First of all, thank you very much for this respectable house for giving us the opportunity to be heard. I admit po, marami po talaga kaming backlog. When I assume the post, parang kadikit na nga po ng FDA yung pangalang backlog eh, no? Pero if we can see the numbers po, hindi naman po lahat ng centers namin eh masalimuot po talaga yung backlogs, no? As of July 2024, actually, mababawasan po kasi ito dahil August na po ngayon. Yung Center for Cosmetics natin nasa around 300 na lang po yung backlogs. Yung ating CFRR, Center for Food is lang 300. Center for Device po is 0 ang backlog po niya. Pero po yung pinakamasalimuot talaga yung Center for Drug, which is admittedly nasa 9,800 po. as of now.
9,800 ang backlog?
Yes po.
How do you
ma'am.
intend to address this?
Yes po, ma'am. Ma'am Chair, Madam Chair, actually when I assumed the post, I had a strategic plan for the FDA. So, one of it is the Band-Aid solution and the long-term plan. Isa conglomerate po kasi ng maraming strategies for you to address the backlog. Number 1 po dyan is the full digitalization. Number 2 is policy innovation. Number 3 is manpower complement. And then number 4 po is of course the structure, the infrastructure. No? So when I assume the post po, nagpunta po ako sa opisina. Ang una-una ko pong ginawa is to open all the plantillas. So as of now, nasa 80% na po kami sa plantilla. Ang naging backtrack naman po sa ahensya, para naman po kaming sardinas doon sa loob ng aming building. Pag nagkasunog po doon, kukunin kami ni Lord sabay-sabay. So, ang ginawa po namin po is, I asked the permission. Of course, meron po kami tinatawag na SAGF to have a multi-story building, which is fortunately it was approved, and nagkaroon na po kami ng groundbreaking, and fortunately po, after po ng ghost month, traditionally po kasi ang DPWH po yung implementer, magsisimula na po kami ng building. Bakit ko po inuna yung building? Kasi po usually it's a 3-phase. So, pwede naman po kami mag-opisina as of while waiting for the building. So, number 2 is the policy innovation or policy making. I have 4 major structural policy. Ang bureaucracy po kasi sa FDA simple lang po. Kapag administrative order po from the law, administrative order, sa amin po mag-emerge yung policy. Then after po that, pupunta po yan po sa Department of Health. Of course, unfortunately, masign po na ating mahal na Secretary Ted Herbosa. So there was a 4 major structural policy. Number 1 is the exportation for drug. Clamor po yan ng ating mga drug industries kasi po yung mga drug exportation, pumapasok po siya sa normal process. Po napapanad po si alam po na lahat ng stakeholder yan. That was fortunately the exportation for drug in action na po ng Department of Health at nasiyahin na po ni Secretary Herbosa like 2 weeks ago. So you just need 15 days of posting and then it will be implemented. Ito po yung tulong namin sa mga drug manufacturers because yung lesson po ng pandemic para for us to be self-sufficient. Number 2 po is the unified licensing. Yung unified licensing, as of now po kasi ang LTO po namin na validity is 3 years initial, 5 years renewal. So kami po, sa unified licensing, gagawin po namin, nakasubmit na rin po sa Department of Health, yung initial na 3 years, gagawin po namin 6 years. Tapos yung renewal po na 5 years, gagawin namin 12 years. So basically po, for the stakeholder, for their operation to be stabilized. Nasabi na rin po ito sa Malacanang, nasabi na rin po at alam na po ni Presidente, kaya naghiwa po siyang direktiba. So, sa Administrative Order number 67 po, 37 years na po siya na malamang hindi pa po ako doktor noon, yun na po ang ginagamit sa pag-regulate ng drug. Ang problem po kasi doon, all other application were treated as new application. So sobrang tagal po talaga. Ang ginawa po namin, ni-revise po namin. For us, the FDA, pinaikot namin sa stakeholder, ni-RIA po namin, public consultation, it took us like 1 year. And it was already submitted to the Department of Health. And this Friday po, hopefully, ma-approve na po ng MANCOM namin. Nakaakibat po doon yung 6 years initial, 12 years renewal ng Certificate of Product Registration para po mag-complement yung unified licensing. And last but not the least po yung revision of fees. 2001 pa po kami last na nakapag-revise ng fees. So outdated na po talaga kami. So ang ginawa po namin, yan po ay dumaan sa normal proseso. Nasubmit na rin po namin sa Department of Health. Dapat po kasi yung 4 na yan, sabay-sabay po yan. Kung napansin po ninyo, lahat yan 6-12 years. So lahat po yan magsabay-sabay. Ang problema po, ang aming fees po is per annum. Pag yung current fees po namin na ganito, ay malulugi po talaga kami, wala na kami magagawa sa ahensya namin. So dapat po sabay-sabay po siya. Ang caveat naman, ang catch naman po doon sa revision of fees, drug po yung AO67, but all other regulations ng products namin, 6 years, 12 years, nakakakibat naman po yung sa revision of fees. So, all the Center for Food, Center for Device, is 6 years initial, 12 years renewal na po kanilang certificate. I was able to gain support po from Secretary Ted. Nagpapasalamat po ako sa mabilis pong action nila dun sa aming 2 priority. But still, we have 2 pending administrative order that is waiting to be vetted by the MANCOM. So, policy innovations po yung number 1. And yung pinakahuli po kasi, na yun nga po, fortunately, na ilapit, na brought up nyo na rin po dito, is the complement of manpower. Kasi sa totoo lang po, itong backlogs na po ito, may istorya po ito. Nag-resign po yung mga evaluators namin, almost 10 sa Center for Drug. Of course, the number 1 is the competitiveness of salary. Salary grade 18 lang po yung aking mga evaluator. Pag yan po sinulot po sa labas, ang sweldo po niyan almost times 2. So hindi ko naman po sila pwedeng hadlangan sa kanilang pangarap. So the strategy is to prolong the validity so that we can address the backlogs, so that the new products can come in and the evaluators can evaluate immediately. So hopefully po, ang target ko nga po dito, zero backlog Talagang yun po ang agenda ko dito. So, we need to complement for technical people. Kasi po, kakibat po ng unregistered product is the pathway also. Gusto nga po mag-register ng isang stakeholder, hindi naman po nila may rehistro kasi wala po kaming pathway. Ibig sabihin po, noon wala kaming regulation for that. So nagkakaroon po kami ng special unit at doon po namin kukunin sa additional plantilla so that we can cope up with the technology from our competing countries. Ay, sorry. Sorry. From our competing countries. For example po, nakarehistro po yung produkto sa ibang bansa. Sa Pilipinas po wala. Ano pong gagawin ng mga kababayan natin? Lilipad po sila sa ibang bansa. Dahil sa atin wala po, hindi available sa atin. Eh, lugi po ang ekonomiya. Kawawa naman po yung bayan nating mahal. So, we are doing the innovative policies as of now. So, andyan po yung mga tinatawag na borderline products. Hindi namin malaman kung nasa device ba siya o sa drug siya. So that meron po kami borderline, kami magpapacilitate saan nila narehistro. Kasi pag hindi pa namin narehistro yun, unregistered product po siya. So, gusto nila magrehistro, pero hindi nila alam kung saan sila pupunta. So, another thing po, that's why I launched the Task Force Diomid. Yung Diomid po, dalawa po, two-prong approach yun. Number 1 po doon is the borderline products and number 2 is the health-related products. So may mga produkto kasing ganito. Para siyang medical device, para rin siyang drug. So ibig sabihin, magtatag-over yung dalawa. San siyang regulation. Pero may dominant effect kasi po yun. Partly, mas lamang siya sa drug. So nagkakaroon po kami ng quasi-medical device so that we can regulate all those products. Kailangan po nila yun kasi para makapasok sa country. Pag wala po silang lisensya, sa custom pa lang uhulihin na kagad sila. So yun po yung approach namin. Aside from that, hindi lang naman po drug ang amin nire-regulate. Meron po kaming cosmetics. That's why we are ongoing na functional cosmetics. May mga, kaya po ang reason bakit ang mga cosmetic manufacturers natin ay nagsilugian. Kasi hindi po sila makapag-claim. Every time that they have the claim, like skin whitening, lahat po yan pupunta ng drug. At alam naman po natin, clinical trial, napakasalimuot at mahal. No? It usually takes them 5 million.